So weird filming again. I wanted to come on here today and do a video that I was inspired to record by an amazing creator. I think her name is Poe, and the video was titled Why I Make Videos Nobody Watches, and you should too. And it was just very inspiring to me. A very bright girl. I'm not going to go over all of her points and her little think piece because she did a phenomenal job, but it just kind of inspired me because I've had this thought for some time that I wanted to come back to filming videos, and I can't remember the last time that I filmed a video here on YouTube. I want to say it's probably been 2.5 years. I'm coming back on here as such a different person. I had a spiritual awakening probably about 1.5 to 2 years ago, and it's just completely changed my personality. And I do want to start posting, if for no other reason, just for myself as a video diary. I don't expect anybody to watch this. If they do, great. If not, awesome. I feel like it's still really beneficial in your growth just to kind of look back and reflect. Helps you with so many things gratefulness, mindfulness, all kind of things. And I just wanted to kind of come on here and do a video about a topic that I don't see many people talking about. So I wanted to talk about spirituality in the corporate world. I was trying to find videos about this topic, and I just wasn't able to find much. There's a lot of videos out there of people who want to make spiritual businesses and businesses based on the foundations of coaching and spirituality and things like that. But I just mean people who literally still have to work in the grind. They still have to participate in the real world, and they've gone through a spiritual awakening. I just don't see a lot of people who are talking about that, and it's really, really challenging, guys. I was doing hair for the last few years, and I'm a Gemini, so I'm very left brain, right brain, and I find myself on this path often that it's creativity and security and money. And through different periods of my life, that just ebbs and flows. And so it's very different in an adjustment period, going from being creative and doing hair and being able to make my own schedule, to going back to fitting in a box and conforming with norms and everything. If you see my last couple of videos, I had bright orange hair. I'm very much like a chameleon. And it's just been really, really challenging for me. And I know that there are other people out there going through the same thing. I think particularly what is so challenging to me is that when you go through an awakening, it kind of boils down what's really important to life to its most basic elements. And when you're forced to participate in capitalism and quote unquote the real world 9 to 5 again, it can feel a little daunting because everything seems so trivial. And I've actually had this affect me in my job because what you need to know about me is that I've worked in corporate for most of my life. So doing hair was very out of the box norm for me, and I loved it, and it definitely served a need that I really needed during my spiritual growth. I don't think I could have done that in confined to the box of the corporate world. But having said that, now that I don't I'm not high stress, I'm not high strung, I'm not super competitive when it comes to the corporate world anymore. I really am coming back as a totally different person. And sometimes that does not do me any favors in the corporate world, because sometimes in order to be successful, you do need to be hyper fixated on competition and building relationships and giving a lot of yourself and energy in a way that I don't personally feel like giving anymore. And it's this delicate balance every day that I just struggle with. For instance, and I'm a Gemini, so the way that I appear is really important to me, and I don't want to have makeup on right now. I don't even want to look like this right now, but it's something that I have to do for my job. And I'm extremely lucky that I'm in management and I work from home, but still, it's your days are full of meetings that could have been emails. It just gets tiring. But on the flip side, there was a point when I was a hairstylist that the overly abundant obsession with looks and materialism and makeup and clothes and perfume and hair, it got to the point during my spiritual awakening that I just completely rejected everything that had to do with that. I went totally the other end of the spectrum. I literally just did not want to put makeup on. I spent years of my life putting on a full face, lashes, makeup, hair every single day. And now I feel like I'm really in a period of integration, which is where I'm trying to get back into like the real world, the quote unquote capitalistic world, but like my heart's just not in it. And realistically, like what I want to do is I want to help people through my natural talents, and that is like through speaking to people, helping. And I do think I have a lot to give just from my like life experience, my previous past experience. And then I think I have a lot to give people in their like early spiritual awakening. I don't think a lot of people talk about kind of that like midpoint in their spiritual awakening, and things like spiritual psychosis and things like that. Like these are very real conversations that I think we need to start having now. But there are a lot of people who are growing more conscious in the corporate world, and it is a constant tug and pull, because at the end of the day, rent still has to be paid, and they don't care how balanced your chakras are. And it's really, really difficult to stay grounded. You know, meditation has saved my life. Meditation is the reason why like I'm here and am the way that I am today. And in my personal life, I have found such contentment that I've never had ever, and such self-acceptance. Like I love my own company. I like love being with myself. I love reading. I have such a thirst for knowledge. I've always had that, but like especially as it relates to like myself and like spirituality, I'm so intrigued in like self-improvement as far as getting back to me. And you know, a lot of spiritual gurus will say like there's the little I and the big I, and the little I mean, is me, is in corporate, is in leadership. And I just struggle because I don't feel like that's me. And I don't like when I don't feel like I can present in a genuine way. It like really, really takes a toll on me. So I don't have the answers, but that's just something that I'm kind of going through right now. And I want to kind of, this is like something that I think will help me. I grew up code switching for years just based upon where I grew up and the culture there. So, and then I went right into the corporate world. So things like this, like I don't even know my real voice. Like as soon as I switch on a camera, my voice is completely different than in real life. And that is something that I'm consciously working on every single day, is dismantling these things and these stories that society told me about myself, and really just looking to live like a more genuine life. And if I could make money on here, that would be awesome. But when I really tell you, and I doubt that anybody's like going to watch this video, like this is really for me to be able to reflect, see the growth, see the change, and just see how much I've improved, because I think that that's helpful. And if this does help like one person who's like corporate and is like, I just want to be barefoot, like on a beach somewhere, like sis, sir, I feel you. And it's tough. It's like tough, and every day it's a struggle. Every day I wake up grateful. It's like a really weird balance that I wake up like so grateful for everything that I have in my life and my job, and my personal life is just so good and fruitful and abundant. And like there's a lot of like negative, like heavy energy that's associated with like the corporate world that is extremely draining. Like after work, like I feel so drained. Like my house, I can never keep up on housework. Like it genuinely takes everything from me. And I used to be like a social butterfly, and now like people's energy, even remotely, it's just draining. And I don't like to play the games and you know, the corporate speak and the emails. It's like all of that. My ego 5-10 years ago would have been so happy to have this position, and now I'm really about uplifting like the people under me and really making sure to like nurture them in their like passion within the role. That's what I want it to be. I guess now like the only way that I can make like the corporate world thing work for me and feel somewhat fulfilling is that the people that work under me, I want to be the management to them that I never had. I always want to give credit where credit's due. You know, and the thing about that is there's always going to be bumps along the way of your spiritual growth, and it's going to manifest in different ways, right? So when I first took this position, I was really, really working on like really deep ego work, and that resulted in me being like a complete like pushover at this job. And it's so funny because I can tell like my boss, everybody is like, that girl is just like such a pushover. And it's like, like, you believe me, you don't want me to go back to the old me, but that's how I manifest that. Like, that's what made sense for me at the time. That's how I thought you were supposed to be. That was like the opposite of the extreme of ego, right? And then the extreme lack of ego, that's not healthy either. Everything literally is balance. And being a Gemini, like, it's just this constant lesson over and over and over. And now I've kind of pigeonholed myself into this position where, like, they think I'm this shrinking violet, and I'm like, you have no idea. And now I'm slowly having to bring parts and pieces of myself out, and I only have myself to, I don't want to say blame, but it's a learning process. I should have came in as me, and I didn't want to come in and make the same mistakes that I always have in past corporate jobs. And so I played it extremely safe, which has not done me any favors and has in fact made this process and this position a little bit more difficult. And now I'm having to slowly peel away the layers and show people like who I really am, and be like, show boundaries and really just stand in my truth. And it's difficult, guys. But yeah, that's what I wanted to come on here for. I don't know, I'm gonna just use this as like a journal.